But now the fun really starts, because do you remember that squid that we looked at? Some of them were giant. Well, here are mine. I love this stuff. It's called calamaro in Italian. And now you can buy them clean, but if you're really brave, you want to clean your own. And it's not a really bad job at all. Here is the head with the tentacles, and these are very tender, and we want to eat those. So what you want to do is simply pull the head from the body. You see? Just like that. And then set that aside, because we're going to be using that later on. And then you've got to clean out the inside of the squid. So you just get your hand in there and pull out all of the innards. And sometimes there's a little plastic-like bone, the one that I showed you in the fish market, and this one doesn't seem to have it. But you take that out as well. And so rinse the inside, the interior, very, very good. And then some people like to take the skin off, this outer skin, although it really isn't necessary. But if you put it under running water, just like this, you see, you can start to peel the skin back. And this is a rather tough one to get the skin off of. So take the skin off, and if you cook this with the skin on, it has kind of a purpley look to it when you're done with it. And this one is really giving me a run for my money here. I need to get a job at the Flying Fish where they catch this stuff like nothing flat. We're going to be using this as a stuffing for our calamare e capesante dish, which means we're going to be using not only squid but scallops for the stuffing with the tentacles. So you just want to cut the tentacles down to where you feel that little cartilage near the eye, and that part we just discard. And then that I have here in a pan with some onions. I've simply cooked the tentacles down with one medium onion and a little bit of olive oil. So that's been cooking down until the tentacles start to look a little purple. Well, for the rest of our stuffing, we want to have some scallops. And these are sea scallops. I would normally use bay scallops for this because they're a little sweeter and you get them on the East Coast. But because I don't have those today, I'm using sea scallops. And these I want to cut up because they're going to be going into the sack of the squid, or the squid body itself. So you want about 1/4 pound to do, 4 squid. So once you get them cut up like that, well, here's some that I did earlier, you want to put those in with the tentacles and the onions. Now I put these in last because they don't take as long to cook. And as a fisherman once told me in Italy, when I asked him, well, how do you cook capesante? He simply took it out of its shell and popped it right into his mouth. So I'm going to turn the heat up on that a little bit and give that a little bit of salt and pepper. Not much, just a little bit. So there's my pepper and my salt. I'm going to turn this off now. And to this I want to add some breadcrumbs. So here are my breadcrumbs, about 1/2 cup of fresh breadcrumbs. I'm going to add this mixture to this and just let this cool down for a few minutes. And then save your pan because you're going to be putting this back in and stewing this. This is going to take a little bit of time to cook. So I'm going to leave that there. And while I'm thinking of it, I have to heat up another pan because those shrimp that I'm telling you about are going to be delicious. So once you have your mixture like this, well, then you want to give that a little bit of salt and pepper. And what I like in this, what I think is particularly nice, are capers. So let me get some capers out. And these are capers, and you can buy them in brine or you can buy them in salt. So I'm going to put about, a tablespoon of capers in. And that's my mixture. Now, this gets a little messy. So here's our sack, you see? Our squid is all cleaned. And then what you want to do is fill the sack with this mixture. And I hate spoons, so I'm just going to use my fingers. And take some of it and just stuff it. And then to close that up, you just want to take a toothpick, you see? Just like that. And so there's one. Now I'll do one more for you. And one like this certainly is enough for a serving. And add just a little bit of olive oil to prevent that from sticking. Now the trick here is that you cook these slowly. go right in here. And these need to brown on both sides before I add the tomatoes. So now that the squid have cooked a bit, you want to add tomatoes, about 2 whole plum tomatoes, and then give it a little bit of dry white wine, about, a quarter to a half a cup to prevent the pan from sticking and also to add a little bit of moisture to this. Then turn this down low, put a cover on it, and let that simmer for about 20 minutes.